the palm of my hand, the palm of my hand, the palm of my hand.
Palm of My Hand off of Susan Cowsill's Just Believe It CD. Susan, thanks so much for spending time with us tonight. This has been so much fun for me. I can't tell you.
I've had a blast.
I'm glad. I'm so pleased when people actually have a good time, you know, as opposed to like, I'm never doing that show again, you know. So,
yeah, I wasn't expecting this, and y'all are so sweet, and you've got a very loving base.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Now, Tim, what
would you expect with a show called Loving, Caring, and Sharing?
Yeah, a bunch of bullies.
It could be like a bad Care Bears cartoon.
Well, you know, Susan, the whole idea was it was tongue in cheek to start with.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. What? I don't know if you want to hear all this nonsense.
I do. I want to hear.
Yeah. You've got to explain to the listeners what loving, caring, and sharing was all about.
All right.
Mark.
All right. Okay. Look.
Mark, explain.
All right. Okay. Fine. You guys put me on the spot again. Okay. So back 4 years ago, I stumbled onto Skypecasts on Skype, which were basically conference calls, and everybody was just using them to sit around and talk to each other. Well, I decided to have a Skypecast and run it like a radio show, and I had people, you know, come on. What happened was my first day on Skype, a Skypecast, I looked at the Skypecast page. I had no idea what it was about. I was used to the text chat, you know, of like Yahoo and stuff, and Skype says, you know, brand new, try Skypecast, and I'm like, what's Skypecast? So I click on Skypecast, and there's these lists of pages upon pages of people that are holding Skypecasts, and the first one I saw was hosted by some Irish guys. And they called it Talk Shoit. And I thought, okay. So I clicked on the thing, and lo and behold, Skype dialed me in, and there's about, 80 people listening to these 3 or 4 Irish guys that were talking. And I love the Irish, being part Irish. And then I saw this.
I'm mostly Irish, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I clicked on this button that says, ask to talk. So I queued myself up into, the waiting area to actually join the conversation, and I had no idea what was going on. I had, a microphone and speakers and stuff, and these guys are talking, and they're really funny. And they looked down, I guess, and saw the, the names listed. A lot of people had goofy names that didn't make any sense or whatever, but they saw Mark G. Mercer, and this guy says, mate, you got somebody down there, his name's Mark Mercer, maybe you want to bring him up. And he's like, all right, mate. And so they bring him up, and it's like, hello, Mark, how you doing, mate? And I was like, oh, wow. I said, where are you guys from? I'm in Dublin. And the other guy's like, I'm in Glasgow. And
that was the worst Irish accent I've ever heard.
I know, it's terrible.
It was not.
Yeah, but they're going on and on. And I just, I had so much fun talking with these guys. I sat there for like 2 hours, and they were hilarious. I thought these guys were just so much fun. Well, when it was over, there was a guy that was there also. His name was DJ Dennison. He was a Brit living in Spain, and he said to me, Mark, mate, you should do a show. You could do better than these blokes. And I said, all right, okay. What do we call it? And he said, well, let's call it something that will have on the ladies, mate. The chicks will come on, and we'll make it sound like we're caring guys. We're wearing our hearts on our sleeves, and then we'll have on them, mate. We'll goof on them. It'll be great. I said, okay, well, what do we call it? And he goes, oh, I don't know. It's called Fluffy Kittens. And I go, Fluffy Kittens? There's no self-respecting woman's going to buy that. Fluffy Kittens. He goes, well, what do you want to call it? I said, I don't know. It should be something that sounds like we're, big fans of Oprah or something. That we're, I don't know. Why don't we'll call it loving and caring and sharing. He goes, yeah, brilliant, mate, do it, set it up. So we set it up, and I go, you're going to be my co-host, all right? He goes, yeah. So he's like my Ed McMahon. So we fired it up, and boom, all of a sudden there's like 60, 70 people, 80 people, 100 people, and he was great. DJ was really funny. He was like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mark Mercer's Loving, Caring, and Sharing. And Mark, we have now, wants to join us in talking, Yuku, and she's from Osaka, Japan. Hello, Yuku. And I'm like, hi, Yuku, how you doing? And she's like, hi. And I'm like, aw, she's nice. And he's texting me. He's like, go on, have on her, goof on her. I'm like, I can't, she's nice. And she goes, are you on the radio? And I go, yes, we're live. That's right. You're on Loving, Caring, and Sharing with Mark Mercer. And she goes, oh, you're very nice, man. And I was like, I can't do this to her. I can't do it. And
I'm not feeling like a very nice man.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. So it was, it kind of backfired on me. And what happened was I kind of became sort of a big fish in a small pond. I did a regular show, and I had a lot of people come. And right away, one of my very first listeners was Danny from South Carolina, and he was 14, and he was really cool. I really liked Danny. He was a lot of fun. And I made a decision then that I was going to make my show family friendly. So I made up a couple of simple, just a couple simple rules. No swearing. Anybody saying mean things to each other, that's just uncalled for. And the third rule, which is most important of all, of course, is let's have some fun. And that's what we did. And so I had a regular show, and there were a lot of other people that had shows on. There was Seamus, and he had Sexy Chat, which was his was a grown-up chat. It wasn't like dirty, naughty stuff. It was just that he didn't want kids in there. And he was funny. Daniel, of course, had British Bulldogs, and there were just a bunch of different people that had all these different. It was Let's Argue with His Highness from India, and he would just argue with people. He was hilarious. And so I did this, and I ended up with kind of like a following of people.
But hang on. Let's just explain His Highness from India. He was.
Yeah, he was a character.
He wasn't from India. He was from Newcastle, and he worked in an Indian restaurant.
Oh, is that right? Now, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Daniel.
I did.
Oh, all right. But he was actually very brilliant because all he wanted to do was argue. And people would go, well, what do you want to argue about? He goes, what's wrong with you? And then he'd just start laying into them and telling them that they're fat, they're ugly, and all this different stuff. And they'd be like, and they couldn't get a word in. And he would always just say, sit down. And then he'd throw them down into listening so they couldn't talk anymore. And I came on one time, and he started insulting me. And he said, yeah, you probably go and eat at McDonald's every day, don't you? I go, that's right. He goes, you probably weigh about 350 pounds. I go, 355. I'm just going along with him, And he ended up allowing me to be on his show as a regular. He never had anybody on but me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
wow, you never saw what me and Terry did to him.
Oh,
we had 38 people in a room once. Me and Terry. And we decided that we were going to go pick on His Highness, so we all changed our Skype names to His Highness.
Yeah, right.
And we all went into his room and jumped up into talking, and took ourselves down to waiting and jumped up into talking. And he was so flummoxed, he absolutely closed the room down. He did that 7 times.
Yeah, one of the things you could do on Skype then is you could change your name to anything, and so you'd show up in the room as anything you want. You could be Arnold Schwarzenegger, you could be Ronald Reagan, doesn't matter. You could be anything, and so everybody changed their name to His Highness from India would like absolutely just make him go nuts. And so anyway, I had a lot of fun with that, and I ended up with a lot of people, kind of following me. Actually, ended up with a website. I had a regular bunch of people came on, and it took off. But then they killed the Skype casts. What was that? September 2009, Daniel? Or
No. It ended on September the 1st, 2008.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, and so
yes, I remember.
Yes, you do.
I have a vigil every year.
I know. Yes, you. Yeah, you poor thing.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah. So what happened was like a lot of the people that were like
You're tugging on my strings right now.
Yeah. Well,
I believed you.
Yeah. Well, we were all like very depressed.
I burn incense and cry. Every September the 1st.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was one of those things where like I was encouraged by a lot of people to like try different formats. So I tried Pal Talk, I tried Blog Talk, I tried Talk, I tried Frog Talk, I tried all these things, and I hated them all. Hated them. And then Daniel's coming along, and he's telling me about there's a new format, and he starts explaining it to me. He says, "Look, I'll put you on the radio. I'll put you on North Star." And I was like, oh, baby likes that. So, so we did a Christmas show just this past Christmas, and of course we had Timothy with us. We debuted most of his album. Steve was able to call in, and he told everybody about his work down in Guyana. And then I had my crew here. I had Georgie, my manager. I call him my manager. He was the town bully where I grew up, but we're best friends now. And I had Scotty Kleber, and I had Kenny on with me, and we just had a grand old time. And that was the first show. And
awesome. You know what I like about the whole thing is I've been trying to get my act together enough to do something here in New Orleans, which I just wanted to be the woman on the street.
Oh yeah.
I met so many people just going up to a gas station shortly after the storm, and then a couple of years in being here, and people had so many stories.
Oh, I'll bet.
And I thought it'd be really cool to be out interviewing the city.
Really?
And yeah,
that is a fascinating idea.
It is, and it's still doable. And my
well, sure, yeah. I mean, something like Katrina isn't something just
take on it.
Yeah,
I was going to get a flatbed truck and put a couch and a lamp and a table on it.
like a living room.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And it was going to be called Susan Cowsill's On the Couch.
Oh, that is awesome.
And drive up to random places and just ask people if they would be comfortable and free to come out and get interviewed, and bring them up to the back of my pickup truck and sit down in a proper setting,
right,
and see what was going on in their lives. And
I think that's cool. I think you should do it.
I know, and I want to. God, I wish I just could, multiply myself 8,000 times.
Yeah,
because it's still a viable. And I've seen a bunch of really bogus, really stupid kind of versions of it in town right now, like on public access. It's, I'm interviewing Nola. And it's like,
jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And I think it would be cool. I think it would be a cool idea. So I appreciate what you're saying. I understand the need to, or the desire, I guess.
Oh, look, I got to tell you something. I'm going to be straight with you, all right? This whole thing of me doing, being on North Star and all the stuff I've done before that when I was doing it on Skypecast, this is all about therapy for me. I got these voices running in my head. They've been there my whole life, and I finally found a way to get them out. And that's really what it's all about. And, if I can land a job in radio and get paid for actually getting the therapy, then I'm going to be the happiest camper you'll ever saw in your life. So
I understand.
That's really what it's all about for me. And in the meantime, I love talking with people. I've always enjoyed, conversation. And certainly there are certain people in this wonderful world we live in that have really contributed to, I think, myself. They've contributed to who I am. You, musically, your family, how they impacted me as a kid growing up, the impressions that I got from that. And, guys like Steve, Daniel, all these different people, Timothy Abbott, have all been people that have continue to help me in my journey. And, for me, that's such a blessing. So to be able to sit and talk with people for hours on end about our lives and where we come from and our passions.
No, I think it's awesome. And the more some of us see other people doing it, the safer I think we all would feel.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, isn't that really what it's all about? There's so many,
that's why we have best friends.
Yeah. I mean,
well, my thing is the technology these days, because I produce a show for an American, and I'm 5,000 miles away from this American.
Cow.
Yeah, think about that. Yeah. But Daniel brought the idea up to me. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "No, Mark, I'm serious, mate. We got to do this. You've got to get on North Star." And I was like, "Okay, all right, great. You talked me into it. I'm going to do it. If I don't care where this leads. I'm going along for the ride." And then I dragged Steve into it about a month and a half ago. I said, "Steve, he was like, I was interviewing him."
And does it not work?
Oh, absolutely.
It works great.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally works.
Yeah.
I have not had more fun doing an interview in the last 5 years.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, there you go. Because we're a sort of laid-back bunch that really don't care. If something goes wrong, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
And,
one of those things.
You also seem to be a few guys who actually do care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Absolutely care.
I think that's
on the other side of that fence. And that's what's fun. I mean, it's what we do. But when you get people together who actually give a crap.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish me, Mark, and Steve would get paid for it, but we don't.
Not yet, but you watch. Yeah,
if you guys find out how to get paid, will you call me?
Absolutely,
sure.
Yeah, but not just call you. Yeah. Yes. Maybe we.
By the way, thank you, Susan, for giving this interview for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Dana was all over me with the emails. He was like, "Mark, they do understand that this is not a paid gig, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so. I mean, I conveyed this to Russ that this is an interview, and he hasn't mentioned anything about money. So, yeah.
I think anytime an artist can talk about their music and the stuff behind it. Wow, what a great opportunity. A lot of times we don't get that.
Yeah, exactly, Tim. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and this venue is unique because we allow you to come on and talk to us for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's unique because it's free, Stephen.
Well, thank you, Mother.
Yeah, thank you, Mom.
Stephen, hold on.
The price is right. The price is great.
Yeah.
Hold on. Just stop.
Yes, and like, the thing I really like about it is that it gives my guests that opportunity to like come back anytime they want. Like Rodney, he's texting me right now. Yeah, what, you pay people? No, we don't pay any. Rodney, he's like, you pay. He's texting me. You pay people? You mean I came on that show and you didn't pay me?